Hi, welcome back to the garden. It's the end of May and today I wanted to talk about a pruning technique called the Chelsea chop that can transform your perennials into bushier, longer flowering, and better looking plants. So before we get started, let's talk about what plants will benefit from a Chelsea chop. Sedum, as we're going to do today, catmint, rudbeckia, Russian sage, and phlox are a few. All right, here is one of my autumn joy sedums. This is just your regular generic autumn joy sedum, and all you really need for this is a bucket, your clippers of any sort that you like, and gloves. Let's get started. So depending on the height, I take off between 1/4 and 1/3. This to me doesn't look that tall this year, not super leggy, it's already pretty bushy. So I'm just gonna take off probably about down to there, all around. Okay, and that's what it'll look like. There's really no thought that has to go into this pruning technique. You can take off as little or as much as you would like. Well, I take that back. Don't take off too much or you might sacrifice some blooms. It's gonna look like this for a while, but then when it comes time for the bloom season, you will not regret it. It will look so good and you will not have that splitting in the middle, the flopping over and splitting open. Let's go to the other ones. All right, I have 3 sedums in my pool garden. 1, 2, and then the third one's over here. This one I just transplanted this spring, so it's not quite as large. I will probably barely cut that one, but these 2 here get so big towards the end of the season and they really get tall and flop over. So these, it's very necessary to keep them looking good to do the Chelsea chop. I will show you pictures of last year, how great they turned out when I did the Chelsea chop for the first time. All right, so let's just get to work on these then. Okay, here's the end result on this one. Like I said, it's not the most beautiful thing for a while, so don't do this, before you're having company over for a garden party. But the timing of this, it should be done around the end of May. And then I'll go on and do this one, and then I'll just do a little tiny haircut on this one because it's already smaller and shorter, but it does have some of these long little sprouts coming up, so I'll get those, and then I'll probably cut back some of the spent blooms on this geranium as well. All right, I just did the third one, I guess the second one in this pool garden, and I do have just a thought. I use the garden shears on this one and then the other one in the pool garden because they're so big, and you do have to get every individual stem, but a con, I guess, on using the shears is that it just cuts indiscriminately. Whereas the first one I did over by the fence, I picked every stem and cut kind of in between a set of leaves. So I didn't have like these half leaves and stuff. The cuts were a little bit better looking. Now I've got like a lot of torn leaves. It's not a big deal, but if you're someone that would bother, then just take the extra time and use your clippers and do each stem individually, especially if your plant's a little bit smaller. I have I think I have 7 autumn joy sedums, so I was just kind of doing it quickly today, but last year I did use my clippers on each one, and it probably looks a little better. Let me show you the other one again just so we can compare. Yeah, this one definitely looks better. None of the leaves are really cut. I mean, a couple of them are a little bit damaged, but there's no really partial leaves. It's just the stems. See, there's one, but I really tried to cut in between a set of leaves so that the leaves weren't looking terrible. So like I said, if you're someone that would bother, use your clippers. If not, take the shears to them.